Hey everyone, this is Hannah. I have today's Rocket Miner COVID-19 update. Today in Wyoming we have 288 confirmed cases with 105 probable cases. And today the Wyoming Department of Health is reporting that we have 176 people who have recovered completely. Today in a press conference, State Health Officer Dr. Alexia Harris shared that there have been a total of 43 hospitalizations for COVID-19 in Wyoming, and she said that 19 cases are still currently hospitalized right now. And today in Wyoming we received news of the second confirmed COVID-19 related death. Today the Wyoming Department of Health announced the death of a hospitalized Laramie County man who was previously confirmed to have COVID-19. So this is the second coronavirus-related death in Wyoming. Today, in a press conference, Governor Mark Gordon addressed the two deaths that we've had in the state so far. He said that the first man who died was actually a personal friend of his. And he said that the second man, who we heard about today, who died, was around the governor's own age, and Governor Gordon is 63. With this second case, the Wyoming Department of Health did not report that this man had any underlying health conditions. So while we know that COVID-19 is most deadly and dangerous for people who are over 65 and who have underlying conditions, this is a reminder that that doesn't mean those are the only people who die from it. Governor Gordon pointed out that there have been people in their 20s, 30s, 40s, so many people, wide variety of ages and health that have died from this disease. So while it is more of a concern for certain people with certain conditions, that doesn't mean that they're the only people who are dying from it. Our sympathies again just go out to the families of the two Wyoming men who have died, and we just want to remind people to be sympathetic and compassionate and realize what these families are going through, and be concerned and have compassion about that. So today, as I mentioned, the governor did give a press conference along with Dr. Alexia Harris. You can watch the full press conference. It was about an hour long. You can watch that on the PBS Wyoming YouTube channel or their Facebook page. Some of the highlights from the press conference. Governor Gordon pointed out that Wyoming is slightly behind in the curve of getting the virus. We got the virus later than other states and places, so that puts us a little bit behind on the timeline. So he pointed out that we are behind, especially some of our neighboring states, so we see things that they're doing. We might not be on the same timeline as them or be able to take the same actions at the same times. But he said that all of the decisions for Wyoming are driven by data, and they will continue to monitor where the virus is at in our state and what we need to be doing in our responses to it. The governor also stressed and discussed how this is going to be a gradual process. It's not the flip of a switch. There won't be this one moment where suddenly everything's completely back to normal. As far as both our responses in quarantining, self-isolating, and getting back to our normal lives, and then in the effect that the virus has on the economy, he said, he acknowledged that this will have an effect for a while, and it will be a process of both responding to the virus itself, and then once we are able to get back slightly more to normal, it will have affected our economy, and that will be a process of recovering and of working with that. But he pointed out that there are already lots of teams, lots of people in place who are making plans for the short-term effects and the long-term effects of this, and there's been a lot done already to try to help our economy through the virus during this time. The governor shared that there have been 5,730 loans that were given out, and that's more than $706 million that have been given to small businesses and nonprofits throughout Wyoming. And this is to help them keep their businesses and their employees going during this time and this crisis with the virus. And as we go into the future, more plans will be made as we adjust to the effects that this has on our economy. When Dr. Alexia Harris spoke, she stressed the importance of contact tracing and how that's something that is really being stressed and focused on right now, but that Wyoming has been doing that since the beginning. And contact tracing has to do with when you have somebody who is confirmed to have the virus, it's reaching out to the people that they have close contact with and seeing whether or not those people have symptoms. And those are where we get the probable cases of COVID-19. And then they're taking steps to quarantine and self-isolate the people who probably have the virus so that they're not spreading it further. So the contact tracing is something we've been doing that we need to continue doing, and she said that that's going to be one of the main things we can do to help manage and contain and control the virus. She also confirmed that the team that was sent by the CDC has arrived in Wyoming now, and they're going to be helping for a while with the prevention and management of the virus, and also with the data management analysis and just helping our state respond to the virus. Today there was also a virtual meeting from the Sweetwater County COVID-19 Emergency Management Center, and you can watch that on the Facebook page for Sweetwater 311 Sweetwater COVID Response. You can see the meeting that they had, and during that meeting they had a few special guests, including Santa Fe Southwest Grill co-owner Corey Gardner. As you probably know, 2 of the confirmed cases in Rock Springs recently were employees at Santa Fe. So the restaurant has shut down for 2 weeks to protect their staff and to help stop the spread and the probable cases that may exist there. So they had the co-owner of Santa Fe in to talk about what they're doing right now. They also had one of the Sweetwater County confirmed positive COVID-19 patients as part of the meeting, as well as the Public Health Director Kim Weinberger and EOC Chief PIO Jason Mower. So again, we will have a story that shares more details about that meeting and the things that they discussed, but you can also go watch that meeting on their Facebook page. Other virtual meetings that took place last night were Sweetwater County School District board meetings. Both Districts 1 and 2 had virtual board meetings to discuss some of the school's plans right now and going into the future. We will have stories, again, sharing more details and highlights from those meetings and what was discussed. But some of the things they talked about were School District 1 discussed the possibility of maybe continuing online schooling into the summer as part of how to handle summer schools, to do that virtually. And School District 2 discussed some of their plans for graduation and what they want to do for the Green River graduation, how they can honor the seniors. They tossed around a few different ideas of what they may be doing for that. So they're looking into different options, but definitely wanting to do something to honor those seniors and give them something special with their graduation. In national news today, some of the stimulus checks from the government have started going out. So they've talked about doing that in waves to get to different people. So the first wave of the stimulus checks has gone out. Some people are getting that in the mail, which may take a little bit longer. Some people are getting direct deposit, and many people already got that this morning. I was fortunate to be one of the people who did receive that payment this morning. So that is starting to go out, and people will start seeing that money coming in relatively soon and continuing throughout the next few weeks. As a way to wrap up, I just wanted to point out that today is World Art Day, and we have a lot of different organizations in our community that share art, but especially the Community Fine Arts Center has been doing an awesome job recently of sharing art virtually through this time period. If you go to their social medias, especially on their Facebook page, they've been doing a lot to share posts and pictures of some of the art displays that they had right before things were getting shut down, which they had students' art that they were sharing. And then recently they've started something where they're sharing a new piece of art every single day, and it's local art by people who live here in our county who are sharing all sorts of different works of art, whether it's paintings or painted rocks or sculptures or different things. Local people are sharing their art with the Fine Arts Center, who are putting it together into an album, so I'd encourage you to just go check that out. If you have art that you've made recently that you can send a picture of to them, definitely do that so they can keep sharing it. But for World Art Day, I just encourage you to go see some of the posts that they've been putting up recently of local artists sharing their art. And I just think that art is such a crucial thing. It's one of those things that people don't usually look at as a necessity, but I do think it's necessary for our survival as humanity. I think art is what helps us connect to each other. It's what helps us get through difficult times like this. And you can see that throughout history, where when the world has gone through a crisis, so much art comes out of it, and art is part of what connects people and gives them hope and helps them keep going. So I think that's important and something that I'd encourage you to check out for today, since it is World Art Day. Maybe get some encouragement from that. Thank you again for listening. We will continue to give you more updates on our website or social media and through these update videos. But I hope that you have a good night. Thank you.